Coming back to London after living in Denmark for over like a year, I felt it immediately. I felt the speed, the noise, the rush of everything. Before I was surrounded by rhythm, loud, it's fast, always moving. And I thought that energy was like what kept me alive, you know? But when I actually moved to Denmark, everything like slowed down. The mornings are quieter, shops close a lot sooner than they really should. And but there was just this space between moments you can actually feel in a weird way. And at first kind of like felt strange, almost too still. Like like I lost a part of myself, right? Then something kind of like shifted. The stillness gave me space to hear my own thoughts again, basically. And now back here, I realize London still excites me. It's but it no longer defines me basically, right? And changing environments doesn't just change your view. It changes what home actually means to you. And because home isn't just where you've known, it's kind of like where you start to know yourself, basically, right? At first, I was just reacting, trying to keep up with everything in my new life, new system, new language, new rules, new people and stuff like that. I missed how effortless things felt back home. How you don't have to think about belonging. You just did. You just know the ropes. You just know how things worked. You know places, you know faces. You're familiar with a lot of things. But slowly I started to plan instead of just cope because that obviously wasn't working. So I built small routines. I talked about, this whole thing around 30-minute study blocks of times, morning, evening, or whatever you can actually fit that. Because, we all have families, and then going out with family for walks and doing things that typically wouldn't do in a busy city, right? Weekend time for projects that kind of like refueled me. And the more intentional I became, the more Denmark has actually begun to actually feel like mine. Belonging to something that happens to you. It's something you have to build. I know I keep saying this, like piece by piece. You actually have to be intentional about it. Like starting again in another country forces you to stop running on autopilot. You rebuild your life on. It's like deliberate choices at a time. And when I visit London now, I don't see it as a place I escape from. I see it as the foundational or the foundations that taught me how to adapt. It basically taught me how to the basics of how to live anywhere. If you can live in a fast-paced city or fast-paced environment, you can adapt to living anywhere, right? Now I can see how far I've come from someone chasing comfort and familiarity to someone who's find calm in anywhere. It didn't happen overnight. It's been built through like consistency, just doing things over and over again, right? The whole thing around 15 minutes Danish lessons here, 30 minutes Latin sessions there. I'm just showing up even when I don't really feel like it, right? In a new environment. And even when it didn't actually feel like progress, more importantly. Every small win, learning another phrase, finding a friend who understands, building a routine that feels right. It just reminds me that progress isn't loud. It's often in the dark, like they would say. It's quiet, it's deliberate, and it's built on repetition. Sometimes I still miss how easy London feels or felt, knowing the rhythm, the shortcuts, and the language. But I'm also grateful for Denmark because it's shown me to hear myself and how I think about things. And maybe that's what belonging really is. Not choosing one home after another, but carrying both with gratitude. The place that sort of shaped you. And the place where it's shaping, who you're becoming ultimately, like who you become, like your new environment molds you into something new. If you allow it to, rather than conforming to like old ideologies and things like that. Your environment definitely change your frame of mind. Intentional living helps you sort of rebuild, within it. And consistency, those small, steady steps that turns a foreign place into like home. So if you've ever moved or started over somewhere new, remember this. It's okay to miss what was familiar and still be grateful for what's next. Because that tension between missing and becoming, that's where growth actually lives. I kind of hope that's resonated with someone, anyone out there. So again, thanks for watching. Stay blessed. Dose.